If you're looking for a new cash ISA, you might be wondering what it means when it's flexible. Well, it's a feature that some providers offer that could be helpful depending on how you save. So sit tight while I explain exactly what a flexible ISA is, what providers offer them, and a handy hack that could help you make the most of an ISA's flexibility while taking advantage of higher rates elsewhere. So what is a flexible ISA and how does it work? Well, ordinarily, if you have a cash or stocks and shares ISA, you'll know that you get a £20,000 allowance each tax year. And if you make any withdrawals, you usually can't replace the money without it impacting your allowance. That is, unless the ISA is flexible. If your ISA offers flexibility, it means you can withdraw money from your account and repay it within the same tax year without it making any difference to your allowance. In fact, a flexible ISA works a lot like an easy access savings account. So say you've contributed £15,000 into your ISA this financial year and withdraw £5,000, leaving you with £10,000 in your account. If you've got a flexible ISA, you'd still be able to deposit a further £10,000 before the end of the tax year, no problem. But if you had a non-flexible ISA or a standard ISA, you'd only have £5,000 left of your annual allowance. Any money taken out of a standard ISA loses its tax-free earning status and can't be replaced. Now, the key thing to remember here is that if you've got a flexible ISA, the rules only apply to that specific ISA. So if you make a withdrawal, you'll need to repay the money into that same account. You also need to return the cash in the same financial year, which runs the 6th of April to the 5th of April the following year. So that's how a flexible ISA works, but where can you find them? So firstly, not all providers offer them. Despite these flexible rules being introduced ages ago in 2016, providers don't have to apply them. So some don't and some do. If you look at the provider's website, hopefully they've made the flexibility clear. With some of the banks I've seen, they usually like to shout about this feature, so if you can't find it mentioned, it's likely they don't offer it. You can get flexible ISAs whether you're looking at cash ISAs or the stocks and shares version. But when I talk about flexible ISAs in this video, I'm going to be referring to cash ISAs. While you can also get flexible stocks and shares ISAs, the ability to move money in and out isn't really that helpful. This is because the value of your investments can go up and down, so ideally you want to be sticking money in investments for the long term, at least 5 years, to ride out the bumps in the stock market. So really, you don't want to be taking money out of your stocks and shares ISA too often. Instead, you want to leave it there for as long as you can to give it the best chance of growing. So with that in mind, the flexible ISA feature is more useful with cash ISAs. Now, if you're wondering about whether other types of ISA can be flexible, the answer is no. You can't get flexible lifetime ISAs or junior ISAs, which are designed to be long-term savings or investment accounts. As a result of this design, there are restrictions on when you can even access or withdraw the cash. So if we look at lifetime ISAs, for example, you get a £4,000 annual allowance that counts towards your £20,000 annual allowance, and you can only take out your money to buy your first home, for retirement, or if you're terminally ill with less than 12 months to live. And with junior ISAs, which come with their own separate £9,000 a year allowance, you can't make any withdrawals, but your child can when they turn 18. So what providers offer flexible ISAs? Well, you'll find lots of the bigger banks and building societies offer flexibility, like the Bank of Scotland, Barclays, Halifax Lloyds, and Nationwide. But be warned, you may find that many of the big providers scrimp on rates. There are also some of the less established providers that offer flexible ISAs and often better rates, like Trading 212, Zopa, Monument, and Vida or Vida Savings. If you're worried about putting your money in accounts offered by providers you've never heard of, check out the customer reviews on our sister site, smartmoneypeople.com. Of course, you'll also want to make sure you're getting a decent interest rate, so do compare options at all banks and building societies. We've listed the best buys at becleverwithyourcash.com/ISAs, including whether the account is flexible or not. Now, the big question is, do you need a flexible ISA? Well, quite simply, for most people, no, you don't. So I see a flexible ISA as a nice to have rather than something that's totally necessary, and how valuable the feature is depends on how you tend to or are planning to save, if you think you'll probably use your full £20,000 ISA allowance or near enough, and you're likely to need access to it during the next tax year, you could consider a flexible ISA, although you may have to take a hit on the rate. But, and this is a big but, before you do this, you might want to ask yourself if you even need a cash ISA in the first place. I know, I'm really throwing a spanner in the works here. Well, there are plenty of reasons to get a cash ISA. So for example, putting money in an ISA could protect it from tax in years to come, which has become more important given Labour's suggestion that cash ISA reform could be on the cards with rumours of a reduced allowance. Plus, particularly good ISA rates at the moment are making them more attractive. But there might be better options for you. For example, if you're a basic rate taxpayer and the interest you earn on your savings is unlikely to breach your £1,000 annual personal savings allowance, you could opt for one of our top easy access savings accounts, which you'll find at becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. That way, you'll be able to make as many withdrawals and deposits as you like. Even if you go for a limited access account, you'll still be able to access your money a few times a year. Now, with that being said, there is a good use for flexible ISAs, a bit of a hack, if you like, that I want to finish with that you might not be aware of. Now, stay with me. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but there's more information on this in the full article over on becleverwithyourcash.com. If you've got existing money in an ISA and you need to access it, you can always keep a flexible cash ISA open and move your money in and out of it to take advantage of better rates elsewhere while holding on to your tax protection. It could work a bit like this. You could open an easy access cash ISA that offers flexibility and accepts ISA transfers and then move your old ISA money into it. So say you had £40,000 and transferred it to the new flexible ISA, you'd now have a £40,000 holding to play with. You could then move this money out to another non-ISA account paying a higher interest rate while still holding space for that cash in your flexible ISA. Then you can move your money back into the same flexible ISA by the 5th of April of the current tax year without impacting your allowance. Plus, you'll have been able to have added up to £20,000 of your new ISA allowance to this or a different ISA. So potentially you could pay £60,000 back into the flexible ISA and it will all be tax-free and flexible. When the new tax year starts, you can repeat the same process again. Now, I would love to hear from people who give this a go, or if you're already doing it, let me know how much you think you've saved. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining us. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.